Why, what's happened?
Colin Burton didn't pull through. He died late this afternoon.
Anyhow, old Pokeface reckons the bee was something to kill. I don't know. The bee's gonna be ropeable when she gets out of that pound. No wonder young Sharon doesn't want to come in, you know.
Oh, get serious. She had to go and see the governor. Anyway, maybe she can fancy having breakfast with a bunch of wowsers who keep trying to run her life.
What would you know? You can't even run your own bloody life.
I thought you weren't speaking to me.
Yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't waste me bloody breath.
Come on, cut it out, the two of you.
You tell her to cut it out. I'm allowed to have my own opinions, and I still reckon Sharon makes a lot of sense.
Pig, she does.
How would you know? You won't even listen to it. Sounds all right to me. All they do is sit around and love each other. There's nothing wrong with that, is there?
For God's sake, Maxine, I have seen it, you haven't. There's a lot more to it than that, believe me. Now, don't you go getting mixed up in it.
Now you're trying to tell me what to do. How come everyone over 30 reckons they know better than we do?
Please, you mustn't argue. It's bad for your digestion.
First sensible thing I've heard all morning.
That's right. Cease fire over the meal, okay?
Listen, don't worry. If I know B, she's dead. What?
Oh, no.
He died last night.
Oh, Sharon, I'm so sorry.
I can't believe it. I still don't know how it all happened. They're charging me with murder.
Hey, there's a few in this morning, Auntie Joan. They also ring after 9.
That's good. Anything interesting?
Oh, sure. One of them's bound to work out. Hey, Major, get out of it. Major, come on. Come on, boy. I said, get out of it, you stupid...
You sadistic little bitch, I saw that.
Don't you push me round, you old dyke.
Get out.
Oh, I didn't
Just pack your things and get out. Right now.
She talks a lot of garbage. Says who? Says me.
Maxine, can we talk?
You mean if you can lecture me again, I reckon I've had a gutful already.
I do not want to lecture anyone, especially you. It's just that this whole thing has got way out of hand.
Yeah? And whose fault's that?
Oh, okay. You've got me down as the villain of the piece, and right now I'm too wrung out to argue with you. But you saw Sharon's face in...
Yeah. And now she's copping a murder charge because you want her to do things your way.
I never wanted it to go that far. None of us did. Maxine, whether you believe it or not, I really love that kid. And that's why I want this whole argument to stop. Not for me, but for Sharon.
Yeah, all right. I'll quit the fighting. But I'm not going to change my mind about who's right.
Nobody is asking you to. I just want the fighting to stop. Especially between you and Lizzie. Maxine, Lizzie is your friend. Oh, is all this worth losing a friend over?
No, I guess not. Okay, I'll lay off Lizzie. But I'm telling you, you got Buckley's of getting her to lay off me. Silly old bugger.
How much longer?
Look, Auntie Joan, I'm sorry about what happened. Please don't make me leave. Well, I know I've messed things up.
It wouldn't have worked, Lucy. You're a vindictive little bitch, and that's the last thing I need around here. You deliberately attacked that dog for no reason, and I won't stand for that.
But he went for me. Don't worry, I'm going.
Haven't you forgotten something?
What?
You still have several $100s of mine. I want it back.
But if you take that away, I'll have nothing to live on. I've got no job, nowhere to stay. I need that money. Please, Auntie. You're the only family I've got.
That's never made a difference when I've needed any help. All right. But it's a loan, remember? I want it back.
Oh, sure. I'll pay you back, I promise.
Oh, you'll pay me back, all right. You'd be a very silly little girl not to. because I never forget a debt.
Miss Roberts, I'm Ray Gilbert. The court has appointed me to
Yes, I know.
The officer in reception said you were in the hospital. You're not sick, I hope?
Just run down. Please, Mr. Gilbert, is all this necessary?
Well, I have to talk to you about your defence. Now, the way I see it, our best bet is diminished responsibility.
No.
Well, I don't understand.
I was not insane, temporarily or otherwise, and I won't allow you to say I was.
Miss Roberts, as your lawyer, it's
You're
my...
not my lawyer. At least not by my choice. It was a court's decision to appoint you.
Granted, but I still intend to defend you. The least you can do is give me something to go on.
I told everything to the police.
Yes, I know. I have a copy of the statement, but I need more...
Well, I have nothing else to say.
But that statement tells me virtually nothing. I need to know how, why. With only that statement, I can't defend you. Don't you understand?
No, Mr. Gilbert, you don't understand. There's no way anyone can defend me. I'm guilty.
Well, they wouldn't keep her in hospital if she wasn't ill. I told you what I saw. Poor Petra.
Oh, don't start that again,
Oh, look,
Pixie.
whatever this Dr. Collins has got, there isn't enough for all of us girls to come.
Yeah, I reckon if anybody's going to get breakfast in bed from a handsome fellow and a kiss of life, it ought to be me.
You old sex maniac. You'd be chasing him around the surgery all day.
Yeah, well, it takes one to know one.
I reckon we're two of a kind, Lizzie.
Yeah, well, maybe we are. You shouldn't let what other people think turn us against each other.
Well, that's what I've been trying to tell you.
Well, it's about bloody time. Oh, you're going to be friends again. I love happy endings.
Oh, knock that off. You'll have us getting married next.
Anyway, I probably did get too big for me boots. And as for you, Maxie, you always run off at the mouth before you get your brain in gear.
Are you saying I'm in the wrong, Lizzie?
I'm saying we were probably both in the wrong. Now, come on, let's get on with some work.
Yes, that's a great idea. How about it, Maxine?
No, just hold your horses. The only reason why I tried to be friends is because you're too bloody old to understand what it was all about. And even if she did, she wouldn't admit she was in the wrong.
Here we go again.
Are you talking about me?
The cap fits, wear it.
The trouble with you, Maxie, is that you're always in the wrong, but you never will admit it.
Well, I had a bloody good teacher, didn't I?
Oh, bugger you. I'm not going to waste me time.
Good morning, Anne Reynolds speaking.
Good morning, Mrs. Reynolds. It's the building division of the Department of Public Works here. My name's Barlow.
Yes, Mr. Barlow, what can I do for you?
Well, it seems like we've yet to do a final check on the new construction work at Wentworth. I have all the plans here. I wonder if it would be convenient for me to call and do the inspection.
Whenever it suits you, Mr. Barlow. What about today?
That would be fine. We would like to complete the file as soon as possible.
Yes, of course. Shall we say later this morning?
Fine.
Come in.
Oh, and thank you for your cooperation.
Not at all. I'll be happy to give you any assistance you need when you're here. Goodbye. Thank you, Mrs. Barfield. Well, how are you feeling today, Roberts?
I'm fine. I think I slept a little better in the hospital.
Well, don't do any work unless you really feel up to it. I think Dr. Collins is a bit worried about you.
I'm all right, really. Things have just been getting me down.
That's understandable. I think this might cheer you up a bit.
Oh, good. Does that mean the department has given the go-ahead for the school?
Not exactly, but it's just a formality. And when they do, I'll see that you're reimbursed for the outlay on these. I did a bit of running around at home, and I found some books that my son Paul had left from his HSC year. I don't know whether they're any use to you, but he says you're welcome to them.
Thanks, Mrs. Reynolds.
What you're doing for the women is long overdue. I'm certain it'll be a great success.
When can I start?
Well, until the department gives the official approval, I'm afraid it'll have to be during recreation time. What about after lunch?
Marvellous. I'll let the others know. Thanks again.
There was one other thing. Your Aunt Jane brought the books in. She was a little bit hurt when she heard that you wouldn't see anyone.
Please, Mrs. Reynolds. I just can't cope with visitors right now. Especially family. I know how they must hate me.
Aren't you being a bit unfair to them? Especially your sister.
Emma. She's all right, isn't she?
Well, your aunt's a bit worried about her. Apparently she refuses to eat until she sees you. I really think it'd help if you would see her. I can't force you to.
All right,
but,
Mrs. Reynolds. I'll see her. I just don't want to hurt her anymore.
Come on, Maxine. You promised.
Yeah? Well, why me? It's about bloody time she made the first move.
Because she is an old lady.
She's a narrow-minded old ratbag, and I'm not going to crawl to her.
I can understand why Sharon would like him. He's a very striking-looking man.
Who is?
The Reverend Alpha Centauri. I can quite see why people would follow him.
Oh, stop carrying on, Pixie. You haven't even seen him.
His photo, it's in the paper.
What? Let me see that. Wow, what do you know? Good old Matt Thomas. Too bad it's too late to do any good.
Here, you stand there. Well, I'll be buggered. He was a crook, just like you said, Helen.
Well, what's it say then?
It says his real name is James Blackman, and that he's conned millions of dollars out of poor drongos who thought he was the ants' pads.
Yeah, well, I never said that.
No, but you would have done if you'd had half a chance.
Will everyone get their money back, Lizzie?
No, he shot through. Isn't it amazing how some poor drongos get sucked in?
I've done it again, haven't I? Reckon the new doc would give me a brain transplant? One I got's not working too good.
Don't blame yourself, Maxine. A hell of a lot of people were taken in by him.
Yeah, but I reckon I need my ears washing out, only what am I going to say to Lizzie?
Oh, if I know Lizzie, it shouldn't be too difficult. I just hope this doesn't hit Sharon too hard when she finds out. She was counting on that bastard to stand up for her in court. Now she's got no one.
Excuse me. Yes, can I help you?
You're the building inspector from Public Works?
Yes, Barlow's the name.
Oh, Barlow, eh? Well, come on, let's go!
What are you doing here? I thought you were having a sickie.
No, I'm fighting fit, Lizzie.
Good, because I'm so glad. I was so worried about you yesterday.
Thanks for not giving us away, Pixie.
Give you away? Well, who to?
And so what about this new doc? Is he really a spunk?
He seems like a very good doctor. You'll have to decide for yourself about his looks.
I already have. I think I'm in love and I haven't even seen him yet.
If anyone's interested, Mrs. Reynolds gave me the school books this morning. First class is after lunch.
Beauty!
Oh, that's terrific. We need something to get us out of this rut round here.
Yeah, and I was really good with the 2 R's at school.
You mean the 3 R's?
No, there was 2 of them. Ricky and Ray. Real spunky little devils with knobbly knees.
I hear it.
Glad to hear everybody's having a good time. Lizzie, telegram for you.
Oh, God, why'd you have to spoil everything, Mrs. M? Those things always mean bad news.
Now, come on, not this time. It's actually very good news.
Mrs. Morris, I've been worrying about Sharon. Is she okay?
Oh, yes, as far as I know. Her lawyer's just arrived.
Why do they always have to make the print so small?
Here, do you want me to read it for you?
Yes, please, Mrs. M.
Right. Was really bowled over to get your letter. Lots of news on its way. Regards, Mick.
Well, I'll be blowed. A telegram. All those miles.
You sly old dog, Lizzie. He sounds pretty keen on you.
Rubbish. It's just an old mate.
Well, you can put it away now, Lizzie. Dr. Collins wants you for a checkup.
Checkup? Oh, I don't need a checkup, Mrs. M. I feel as though I could take on the whole world.
Well, it's doctor's orders.
Well, what do you know? A telegram, all those thousands of miles, you wouldn't credit it, would you? Now the doc, well, I'll have to start beating them off with sticks soon.
It couldn't have happened at a worse time for us. I'm afraid this kind of publicity is bound to have an effect on the jury. particularly as this man appears to be totally corrupt.
I don't believe it. It can't be true.
Well, of course, it's no direct reflection on you. It seems that all the members of the commune were taken in by this Blackman. Just the same, we were relying very heavily on his evidence as a character witness.
If it's true, then I've got no one. I've got nothing left.
Well, it's not entirely hopeless. We have an unexpected ace in the hole.
A witness? Who?
Well, it seems that although Peter Shannon was involved in the deprogramming, his sympathies lie very much with you. He's prepared to help us.
Peter Shannon? But how can he? He's appearing for the prosecution.
Yes, he is, but he told me that he's prepared to testify to the fear and mental anguish that you are subjected to. It might just be enough to sway the jury.
Peter Shannon. I thought he was against me, that he was going to hurt me.
On the contrary, Miss Smart. Right now, Shannon is your lifeline.
You could have knocked me down with a feather when I heard my name on the wireless. I didn't think he'd ever write back, but he did.
Just a moment, Lizzie. See? Not bad at all.
How am I doing, Doc?
Well, considering all the things that should be wrong with you, I'd say you've got the body of a 35-year-old woman.
Yeah? Well, I'd better give it back because I'm getting it wrinkled.
Right. Let's check the big one. Let's have a listen to your heart.
Oh, I don't suppose you'll even be able to find that.
No, what have we done with the stethoscope? Not having too good a day today, am I, Lizzie?
Don't worry, Doc. I'll come back another day.
No, you don't. Now, you sit right down there. We're going to get right through this today. Now, I've probably left it in the hospital. I'll be back in a moment.
You can stop looking, Doc. Well, I'll be back.
Lizzie, what do you think you're doing?
Oh, I was just looking for your stethomajig.
And what have you got there?
Oh, this dropped out of your pocket. But don't worry, I won't tell us. I like a bit of romance myself.
Look, Lizzie, I don't know what you think you saw.
Oh, come off it, Doc. I'm too long in the tooth not to believe my own eyes. Anyway, I think she's a lovely girl and she shouldn't be in here with the rest of us.
Look, Lizzie, I can assure you...
I told you, stop worrying. It's our little secret.
I still don't understand how you could cruel such a sweet setup because of a bloody dog.
Yeah, well, I'm not exactly thrilled about it myself. For one thing, I haven't got anywhere to stay now.
Speak to the guys. Sure they wouldn't mind if you stayed over for a day or two.
And that dump, thanks for nothing.
You don't have much choice. Anyway, it won't be for long. As soon as we get the really big bread rolling in, we can get a fancy place together, if you like.
You'll do it then? The hard stuff?
It's what you want, isn't it?
You better believe it, lover. I don't intend to live like a pig 1 minute longer than I have to.
Oh, were you going out?
Yes, any problems?
Well, the building inspector's here. I gathered from what he said that you were expecting him.
Damn, I completely forgot. Has he been through security?
Yes, he's been cleared, and I've also double-checked with his office.
You better show him in.
Come in, Mr. Darling.
Mrs. Reynolds, I've got a feeling I'm interrupting your lunch hour.
Oh, that's quite all right. I'm sorry we kept you waiting. I'll arrange for an officer to take you round.
Oh, if it's all the same to you, Mrs. Reynolds, I'd rather go alone. With all due respect, I know what I'm looking for. An escort might just slow me down.
I see your point. Well, I suppose there's nothing wrong with that as long as the women are at lunch, but you must have an escort if there are prisoners around. For your protection, not theirs. Oh, Mr. Barlow, I need a pass key for the security gates, Mrs. Morris. Would you see to that?
Yes, of course. We also have a plan of the prison.
Oh, that's very kind of you, but I've got my own.
I think that covers everything. Oh, if you have any questions while I'm out, my Deputy Governor, Mrs. Powell, would be happy to answer them for you.
You've been very kind. I only wish all my calls were this easy.
And then he even told me that my old ticket was in good shape. And as for the rest of me, well, I reckon he was only kidding.
Birdsworth, just shut up, will you?
Well, about time. I thought you were going to starve me to death.
Now that would take years, Smith. Come on, Birdsworth, hurry it up.
G'day, Petra. What do you reckon? The new doc's got a girlfriend.
Birdsworth, stop mumbling. I haven't got all day.
Petra, her and the doc are on.
I said move it, Birdsworth.
All right, Miss Ferguson. Well, no.
Hello. Can we talk?
I think we said everything we had to say to each other yesterday.
Look, Anne, I'm just trying to apologise. What happened yesterday, I was trying to help a friend. It had nothing to do with us.
I wasn't aware there wasn't us.
Look, having dinner with you last night was one of the nicest things that's happened to me for a long time. I realise it started out with some sort of ulterior motive, but that wasn't the way it finished. Was it?
Please, Wally, I haven't got much time. I've got to get to the bank.
You're a very attractive woman. I would really like to get to know you better. Of course, if you'd rather not get
That
to know
has
me...
nothing to do with it.
And what the hell are we arguing for?
I don't really know. I think I've been overreacting to everything that's happened during the last 2 days.
Then, what about overreacting to an invitation to lunch? No Driscoll House, no ulterior motives, just us. What do you say?
After all that, what can I say?
I don't have to read all those, do I?
Not all at once, but you get to like it, Lizzie, once you give it a chance.
Yeah, I don't reckon it'll do me any harm. But if I were you, I reckon I'd rather be with the doc in his room.
Why would I want to be there? I'm feeling fine now.
Come off it. I know all about it, and I reckon it's great having a bit of romance in this rotten hole.
How did you find out? Did Pixie tell you?
No, I did a bit of sticky beaking, and you could have knocked me down with a feather when I saw him with your photo. Don't worry, love. I told him it's our little secret between us.
I don't want to let anyone in on it. Anyway, it's over, Lizzie.
Rubbish. How can it be over when you love each other?
But don't you see, Lizzie? That's the very reason why I have to end it. I'm going to be here for years. I can't expect him to wait forever. It isn't fair.
Oh, don't count your chickens. You haven't even had your trial yet.
That won't make any difference at all. I don't have any defence to offer.
Well, even if you did it, you must have had a bloody good reason. Just tell him, love.
It's not that simple, Lizzie.
Well, buggered if I'd take it lying down. It's not worth wasting your whole life. You know, love, my old man was a bit of a ratbag, but I wouldn't have wasted my time killing him. I mean,
Not even if he raped you?
God. Did he do that to you?
When I was 15. And then regularly until I got out of that house. Even when I was at teacher's college, I dreaded coming home for visits. I was so worried Mum would find out. I knew what it would do to her.
Where's your mum now, love?
She killed herself. just after my charming father got drunk and boasted about it. I just told him about Scott and I. I guess he figured he'd break us up and he'd have me all to himself again.
Does the doc know all about this?
He knew there was something emotionally wrong with me when we met. But he was so patient.
What? Why did you kill him after all that time?
My sister Emma. I wanted her to come and live with me after Mum died. But she loved him so much. And he swore to me he wouldn't touch her. I was so stupid to believe him.
You mean he had a go at her too? Nobody'd blame you, love, if you just told them the truth.
Maybe they wouldn't. But I won't ever put Emma through that again, Lizzie. She'd have to get up on the stand, and I just can't do that to her.
You mean you're gonna let them convict you without you telling them why?
I can live with it. As long as Emma and Scott don't have to.
Can I help you?
Well, I certainly hope so. I'm Frank Barlow from the Department of Public Works.
Right. Colleen Powell, Deputy Governor.
Ah, yes, Mrs. Reynolds said I should see you if I had any problems. I didn't really expect to get lost there.
Well, that's easily fixed. Which direction are you headed in?
Well, the boiler room. These corridors can get a bit confusing.
Yes, they can. But you're on the right track. It's this way.
This is very kind of you.
Not at all. Hope you haven't found too many problems with the renovations.
As a matter of fact, I haven't found a lot that needs amending at all.
Right, here we go.
Thanks again, Mrs. Powell. I really appreciate you taking the trouble. I have keys, so I'll be right from here on.
That's all right. I'll wait with you. Don't want you getting lost again, do we?
Look, I don't want to keep you from your job, Mrs.
Powell. This is my job.
All right. If you finish writing out that passage, I think we'll get started. It might be a good idea if I hear each of you read first, so that I can make some kind of individual assessment.
Read? Hey, Lizzie, how are you going to do that? They didn't have books or nothing in your day, did they? Cheeky little bugger. At least I could read books that didn't have pictures of motorbikes in them.
I can remember a book I had at Kinder all about Dick and Sue and a big red ball.
Can we read that one? I reckon the pictures would be real ace.
Come on, Maxie, please. You're wasting everybody's time.
Oh, jeez. You're not going to send me home with a note to me ma, are you?
You might as well realise right now, Maxie, that I take teaching pretty seriously. I don't mean that learning can't be fun, but I'm not going to have you spoil it for everyone else. So either sit down and shut up or go away and let us get on with it.
Good on you, love. That's telling you. Hey, what are we going to read?
Well, that piece you were writing about is from a book called Moby Dick.
Oh, beauty. Looks like we're going to have some spicy stuff after all. Oh, bugger you, Maxie. You wasted the whole lesson.
You should have gone while you had the chance. Something personal. Believe me, I gave you an out, but you wouldn't take it. Said you had a job to do. Well, so do I, lady. And for the money they're paying me, I'm not taking any chance on you screwing it up. Pretty harmless looking thing, isn't it? You'd never think. And when this timer goes off, this whole room will be history. Ah! Easy now! No noise! You make me nervous. And then we'll both be in pieces. See this little baby? It's a little present for anyone who gets too nosy. You trip this wire, and boom! Hello, paradise. I never knew anyone yet that could get this stuff off. But I'm not taking any chances on you spoiling the party. So long, sweetheart. Pleasant dreams.
Hi.
I thought you were supposed to be back at work.
Oh, the other girls will cover for me. I thought it was about time you and I had a little talk.
I suppose you've come to gloat over the mess I've made of everything.
Oh, Sharon, if you think I'm getting any pleasure out of saying I told you so, you're wrong. If anyone's to blame for this whole mess, it's me.
You haven't killed anyone. That's something that I have to live with for the rest of my life. You still can't believe it. I thought I'd found some peace, some way to cope with the world. Now it's just one huge nightmare.
Sweetie, I tried to tell you the man was a phony. You're a bright kid. I thought you'd work that out for yourself.
Maybe I didn't want to work it out for myself. Okay, you've proved you were right and I was wrong. But that doesn't make me wrong about everything. Being with people who can work together and be caring and supportive for 24 hours a day is where I want to be. You had no right to treat me like I was crazy just because I didn't fit into your idea of how I should live my life.
I never had an idea of how you should live your life. I only ever had an idea that that Alpha Centauri wasn't all it was cracked up to be. God, I only did what I did because I love you.
I know. And they're going to put me in jail for years, all because you love me.
That I am so sorry for. But look, it's not all that hopeless. When I get up in court and say that it was all my fault, that I drove you to it, that it was me that took you away from everything you care about and confused you so you couldn't think straight, do you think they'll find you guilty? Oh, love, do you think I would let you go down for something I caused?
I haven't given you much of a chance, have I?
That's okay. But Sharon, there is one thing. Judy is such a good mate of mine. She didn't know it was you in the attic.
How could she not know? She came to the Celestial Garden with you.
She didn't know, believe me. I gave her some sob story about a kid trying to break the habit. Well, she didn't see you in Driscoll. How could she know?
Okay, I don't suppose it matters anyway. They'll either believe me or they won't.
Well, I don't think there's anything to worry about there. I have a feeling everything's going to be okay.
I shouldn't have darted you both like that without hearing the whole story, and I'm sorry. Have you been waiting long?
No, not too long. I had some of the women to see anyway. Listen, Anne, I've had a lot of time to think about what happened yesterday. You know, about Driscoll House.
Judy, I know what you're going to say. But between you and me, I can't see how they can evict you from a house you own.
Yeah, well, that's not the point. I mean, the house is just brick and mortar. It's what the house stands for that matters. I don't want to lose my job.
Can you see their faces at the department? If they fire you and then find you're their landlady? Stop worrying. I'm sure they're not going to let that happen.
You mean they'll let me stay on?
Well, I told them that you were completely in the dark about what was happening last night, and they agreed there's no earthly reason to fire you as long as you're cleared of the charges.
Huh. As long as I'm cleared. That's bloody big of a minute.
Come on, Judy. You know they have to cover themselves. After all, it's not just Driscoll House, it's your job here, too. And let's face it, if you weren't cleared of the charges, you'd end up in prison again.
Oh, terrific.
Well, there's no chance of that, is there? You're innocent. So there's nothing to worry about.
Joan, have you seen Colleen?
Well, she was on duty at lunch, but then No, come to think of it, I haven't.
Me either. Lunch was 2 hours ago, and Coral said she hasn't been in reception.
Ah, she probably signed off early.
Colleen? Well, that's not likely. No, anyway, she hasn't signed off.
Well, then she must be still here. Oh, we've probably crossed tracks a dozen times. There's no need to worry.
You're probably right.
You know, I'm not surprised you had trouble finding solitary. First few weeks I worked here, I was constantly getting lost. It's all these corridors, they look exactly the same.
No, I see your point.
You didn't have any real problems then?
Pardon?
Well, with the rebuilding in solitary.
Oh, no, everything seems to meet the requirements. I'm sure there won't be anything left to worry about after today.
Oh, well, that is good news. You didn't ever see the place straight after the fire, did you, Mr. Barlow?
No. I only checked the renovations.
Well, it was a mess, I can tell you. Mind you, you can't tell from looking at it now.
Good afternoon, Anne Reynolds speaking.
Yes, Mrs. Reynolds. It's Sergeant Lewis, CIB. Look, sorry to trouble you. We have a Mr. Barlow here with us at the moment.
Barlow? You mean the building inspector?
Yes. Apparently he was on his way to see you.
Was? I'm sorry, I'm not following you.
Well, it seems he was beaten up by thugs and dumped a few miles out of town. His identification was stolen, and we thought you'd better know about it.
Sergeant, Mr. Barlow has been here since lunchtime doing a building inspection.
Is he still on the premises?
I'm not sure.
Well, look, if he hasn't left yet, could you just keep him talking? We'll have someone there as quickly as possible.
Yes, of course.
Look, we don't know, but this fellow could be dangerous. You'd better get straight into it.
Yes, thank you. Coral? Is Mrs. Powell out there with you? I see. Would you send someone to get her and tell her that I want to see her immediately? And, has Mr. Barlow left? How long ago? No, there's nothing else.
Why do we have to read about a whale for? Why can't we have something more exciting? I read this real good story once about an axe murder.
Oh, don't, Maxie.
Trouble with you is, unless it's full of blood and guts, you're not interested. Moby Dick is class. It's real classical, isn't it, love?
Sorry, Maxie, that's all I've got for the moment. But you find it gets really exciting once you get into it.
Yeah, well, it sounds bloody fishy to me. Hey, you like that one, Lizzie?
Yeah. Can't you hear me laughing?
Come on, Maxine. How about giving Pixie a hand to load the dryers?
Well, there goes me manicure, girls.
It really was a wonderful story, Maxie. I read it 3 times.
Robert? You've got a visitor.
My sister?
Yes, she's waiting in the garden. Officer Barfoot will take you out there.
Go on, love. It'll be all right. You'll see. Good luck, love.
Hey, Lizzie, what's going on between you and the teach?
That's for me to know and you to find out.
What's all this I hear about you not eating anything? You'll get sick.
I can't help it. I keep thinking about what will happen if anyone finds out. I can't even sleep because of the bad dreams. What are we gonna do?
Nobody's gonna find out, Emma. I told you that. But you've got to help me too. You don't want me to be worrying about you all the time, do you?
No. I don't want you to be in here, Petra. It's awful. I want you to come home.
I can't come home just yet, Emma. You know that. But Auntie Jane will take good care of you.
I want you, Petra. Well, it's my fault you're in here in the first place. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Now, you just stop that. It wasn't your fault. And I won't have you blaming yourself. I should have done something about this years ago. And you wouldn't have to put up with all this now.
I can't let them lock you up for something I did.
You just listen to me. You are never to mention that to anyone again. Do you understand?
And that was the last time I saw her. Now I've checked with Joan and she hasn't seen her either.
Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't worry, but...
You wanted to see me, Mrs. Reynolds?
Yes, Joyce. You were the one who saw Mr. Barlow out when he left, weren't you?
Yes. Oh, very charming man. Oh, I hope I haven't done anything wrong. I made sure he signed out.
Charming he might have been. Building inspector, he definitely wasn't.
Oh, dear.
The thing is, we don't know what this man, whoever he is, was doing here.
You think it's a possibility Colleen caught him red-handed?
I think it's highly probable. Colleen disappearing with him on the premises is just too much of a coincidence.
Well, she certainly didn't leave with him.
Meg, I want every officer to start looking for her immediately. Wherever she is, it has got to be somewhere here in Wentworth. We'll just keep looking till we find her.
Help! Oh, come on, somebody help! Come on, come on. Help!
There's a bomb in there, and there may be more in the prison.
Oh, come on, Mrs. M, let us out! Mrs. Powell? Oh, come on! Come on, let us out!
Oh, somebody's playing funny buggers. But I reckon the screws are gone on strike.
Oh, you don't really think they would, do you?
Wouldn't be the first time. We have to stay locked up and they sit around having bloody meetings.
Oh, no, we'd be awfully hungry. We could be here for weeks.
God almighty.
Anything happening out there, Maxie?
Sweet F.A. All the gates are locked up and I hollered me guts out and there was not a soul around.
Well then, I guess we just sit and wait.
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again. But that was on the outside, and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines, and the rain falls down. But the sun and rain are prisoners too when morning comes around. Last night I dreamed we were together, sharing all the love we'd known, till I had to face the nightmare of waking up alone. On the inside the roses grow, they don't mind the stony ground, but the roses here are prisoners too when morning comes around.